Welcome to Esoteric Thoughts. Today we have Michael Tsarion. And Michael, I'd like to pick your brains about the Catholic deception. I'd like to read something from your website, and I've cross-checked this on the Catholic Encyclopedia. The quote is, "Our documentary sources of knowledge about the origins of Christianity and its earliest development are chiefly the New Testament scriptures, the authenticity of which we must, to a great extent, take for granted." Can you expand on that, please?
Well, there's even the great seminarians, like your Bart Ehrmans, people who've dissected. He remains a Christian himself, but he does great work to show you just how little there is actually in the New Testament that supports, the identity of Jesus. It's great work. He's only one, but he's a very senior seminarian. So obviously his work is devastating to those who've grown up with the literal story. And why they'd even want to take that literally. And then go back to the time of Constantine where these works were selected. What books would be in the Bible and which ones weren't. Who translated? Why was the Old Testament included with the New? It irritates Protestants, and so finally they cut it out. They just don't want to deal with all of the history. But wait a minute, that history is important, we'll say another group. So the Catholic Church always have the Old Testament and the New Testament together, right? But remember, this is, in terms of the Catholic Church, this is a group who had the Bibles chained to the lectern. And even in instances where Bibles were in front of you in the pews, they were also fixed to the pew. So there's no way for you to take it home to do any checking. This was for hundreds of years. Bible study is only about 200 years old. And at what point is it going to really, mavericks are going to come along? Well, you could say it was the 1700s when certain people, Bruno Bauer, and you could name a few others, who did start to question this whole narrative. But then, of course, you have the great split between, the Protestants and Catholics, for all that's worth, in which Protestantism realized that there is so much oddball pagan material or just chicanery that they tried to then excise that as if it would save and sanitize Christianity. No, it didn't. No, it didn't. Right? You can get some of the worst illusions out of it, but look, the thing remains littered with pagan elements. So it's not just the Catholicism only has that, and the Protestant is sheer and cleansed, and a great work has been done to purge. No, it hasn't. The Gnostic elements alone in Paul's Christianity, in all of his writings, and his whole premise is bloody obvious. The stealing from Apollonius of Tyana is obvious when you know what you're doing. And other sort of, although Paul disliked the Jews and wanted his message to go out to the Gentiles, there are so many Judaic elements, it's not even funny. And then we've talked on this channel again about all the astro-theological motifs. Well, they're pagan. So when you start doing this and you take away the story, even the nativity is all about Mithra, not Jesus, and on we could go. Well, then what's left? You see. So basically the religious hierarchies, and of course you think here of the Vatican, these are basically exploitative groups that know all about what we're saying. They know that Rome is loaded with the astrotheology and the references to Dionysus and what have you. It sits on a hill of Aphrodite. It sits on another spot that was for hundreds of, maybe even thousands of years dedicated to Mithra, the great Persian sun god. So the thing is a tremendous hybrid. And all that's happened in the years from the origin of Christianity is a sanitization. Constantine kicked it off, right, by burning all the books and even killing people that wouldn't say yes, to get this homogeny going. And it's basically been that ever since. Now, in the 20th century, and there are exceptions, as I said, from the 1700s, but they were all purged. They were all called atheists and they were wiped out. So it's really taken until the 20th century, we have a bit of wriggle room to be able to turn around and see these taboo areas, to write on them relatively freely. And of course, then you could even turn to the core of, say, what the Roman system is, the Roman Catholic Church and all of its underpinnings, and turn to that and expose it. And I really, focus on the men who've done that.